The only obstacle quite often, I would say, is yourself. Really looking, as I said, really look into what you want to do and set your goals and do your best to strive towards them.
Welcome to Series 2 of ConstructHER podcast, a Master Builders South Australian initiative which celebrates women in the building and construction industry. My name is Holly Gardner. I'm Chair of the Women in Building High Vis Committee, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to a wonderful array of women who are doing fantastic things in the building and construction industry.
The female-led business registrar is going to open up opportunities to attract more women in the industry.
There's other support and mentoring opportunities for them.
I just have something different to bring to the table.
When I have been on site with mothers or elderly women, they felt more comfortable knowing that I was there.
It will connect lots of different women involved in all aspects of building.
Welcome to Season 2 of ConstructHER podcast, which basically is celebrating women in the construction industry in South Australia. Hello, my name is Holly Gardner. I'm Chair of the Women in Building South Australian Committee, which is called High Vis, and I'm here today to celebrate women in the construction industry by interviewing some marvellous women who have made some wonderful contributions to the South Australian building and construction industry. I'm very honoured to have Ms. Louise Hay, who's Executive Officer of Habitat for Humanity. Louise has a diploma in project management. I'm going to let Louise introduce herself further. Louise, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for coming in here today. I would love you to tell our viewers how you came to the construction industry initially, what drew you into the construction industry and where you are right now.
Sure. So I started some 20 years ago in civil construction, gas pipelines with a private company, and I oversaw the projects there in a sort of a project management style. Once I left there, I started Habitat 15 years ago, Habitat for Humanity, and decided to do my diploma in project management because I needed that piece of paper to show that I was capable of doing what I wanted to do. The construction industry had always interested me. I had a real love for it. My father was dappled in homes and construction, so I watched that as I grew up and wanted to do something similar. Once I started working for Habitat for Humanity and realised the benefits to families of owning their own home, that just fed my desire to get involved even further. So I've now project managed 36 homes while working for Habitat for Humanity.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about Habitat for Humanity? What is this organisation?
Sure. So we're a not-for-profit organisation and we're about shelter outcomes for South Australian families. We build homes with the assistance of in-kind support from donors, and we also do other projects to assist people with their home to ensure that they can stay in their home. Underprivileged and vulnerable South Australians are generally who we help.
So when you talk about in-kind help, are you talking about government funded or from private investors?
No, all private. We apply for government grants like anybody else, but generally most of our funds comes from donors. We have partners that we partner with, but we also have the support of some larger organisations that provide their products, whether it be paint or insulation or that sort of stuff, that assists us with keeping the costs down. Because generally we sell our homes to vulnerable South Australians at 75% of the market value.
And tell us about a specific project that you've been working on that you really enjoyed undertaking.
Sure. Well, one of the very first builds I oversaw was for a family who had been through hell, really. They had lost a son who had been killed at the hand of his father, and they needed to get into a home. She was renting a housing trust house, but was very insecure, as I said, had been through horrific domestic violence. I oversaw that build. We had acquired the land through Renewal SA, and that was a home that was formed a lot of love, made the family comfortable, made the family feel safe. That family is now grown into, their daughter is now a teenager who represented herself at Teen Parliament last year. Spoke about the mental health issues that her family had faced, and that home really was a starting point for me to realise that home is the basis for a family thriving, and so construction has been really important to me because it's not just about bricks and mortar, it's about a home for families.
So during that process of when they're actually constructing that home, do the new owners actually have a lot to, do they partake in that construction process?
Okay, so what we've done in the past is we've built the home. We've previously had a construction manager on staff, and our partner families have to put in 200 hours of their own time into assisting with the build. Now, at the moment, we've actually formed a partnership with HPG Homes, and they actually will oversee the build by project managing it on our behalf, but we still get involved from the landscaping point of view. So the families do get involved with that. 200 hours, once it's either themselves or their friends and family that assist, it goes very quickly. And I love having that hands-on. I love to get involved with the families, into building the home and doing that sort of work.
So it sounds like the design of the home is already sorted out.
No, I work through that with them. So
right.
It's a real love of mine to actually sit and work through a plan, work through exactly what the family need, and formulate a plan, go through the whole approval process with council, and then seek the support of our corporate sponsors.
That sounds like an amazing project that you did for that particular family that was obviously going through a lot of challenges in their life.
Yes, it certainly was.
Can you tell me some challenges that you have faced in the construction industry?
Yeah, stereotyping was really made it difficult at the start. A woman in the construction industry was not the thing. But since starting at Habitat and really forging through and doing my diploma in project management, showing that I had the capabilities and the interest, and just having great role models to assist me through, that's really important. I couldn't have done it without those great role models who said, who gave me the time and their energy to show me, to point me in the right direction to make sure that I got what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah, mentoring is an essential part, I think, for women to receive good mentoring in the construction industry. There's no doubt women need support.
Yes, and because the master builders do that now, don't they?
Correct. We do have a mentoring program which is called RISE, which Master Builders Initiative, which is for both men and women, but we also have mentors that specifically assist with women issues in the building industry. So
that would have been a great benefit to me in the years gone by.
Yes, and it sounds to me like having a qualification behind you has assisted you in your progress within the construction industry.
Certainly, to be taken seriously, that was the path I had to go down. And I think a little bit of fear to start off with, thinking, can I do it? Because it's, I suppose, what's in the back of your mind from being younger and in a different time. But you really need to be able to forge ahead and do that study, because that's what gives you that qualification to be able to move forward with confidence.
So when you were working for the civil infrastructure company, you obviously didn't have a qualification at that point. So was that an obstacle?
Yes, it certainly was.
And can you explain what that was?
It's just that bias of not being able to show a piece of paper, for want of a better word, to show that I had the capabilities. I mean, I had a mentor who showed me the ropes, but to be actually able to do the study and show I had the qualification is probably, had I done that a bit earlier, I probably may have even stayed in civil construction, but then I wouldn't have got into the residential construction, which really has become my love.
Yeah, so you were doing project management duties in the civil,
yes,
for the civil infrastructure company. Then you got your diploma, and then that's helped you where you are with humanity.
Habitat for Humanity,
yes.
That's right, yes.
Yes. In sort of looking back over the years, you've talked about projects that you've undertaken for Habitat for Humanity, but generally, what were your other highlights during the time that you've been in the construction industry?
There are so many, in fact, 36 highlights.
Fantastic.
Them.
Fantastic, because we're here really to celebrate women in the industry. And
each house has made such a huge difference to families, and each house has come with different challenges, whether it be acquiring land or whether it be fitting a home in a certain block of land. But I have really enjoyed being able to work through those complications, work through the whole process, because before I took on the executive role, I was the program coordinator for the build for Habitat for Humanity for building, and I worked through every step of the construction process and thoroughly enjoyed that. We also have renovated 2 lots of duplex units into 4 studio apartments, which is a challenge because we have a very small budget. Budget is always a constraint when it comes to building when you're a not-for-profit, but to be able to complete over 2 periods 8 studio apartments in the Murray Bridge area for homeless youth, that was a significant achievement, and I'm really proud of that.
Fantastic. So 4 homeless youths living in the same building?
No, they're totally independent units. So
Yes.
we've actually now got 2 lots of duplex units, now form 8 studio apartments, totally independent apartments for 8 youth to be able to live in. And they are actually overseen now by AC Care. So they are able to stay in those units up to a certain age, and then they put more youth into those, homeless youth into those units before they are able then to go on to the normal rental market. So it really gives them a hand up, and to achieve that on a very limited budget was just phenomenal.
That sounds amazing. So I assume that they're sort of 1 bedroom studio apartments. Are they totally self-contained?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Kitchenette, bathroom, laundry, but
Fantastic.
yes, one sort of big room studio apartment.
And I guess being in the same building, they all can share their experiences and support each other as well.
That's right. So they have, in fact, we're about to start just constructing a combined communal area out the back where they'll have a barbecue in an area that they can sit together and work through, get to know each other, socialise, but also understand each other's cultures and what that means for each person, that they grow and accept each other's cultures and work together.
Fantastic. So is there a time frame on how much time they spend in those dwellings?
It's an age time frame, yes. So generally it's from 16 years to 23 years of age.
Fantastic. So a total of around about 7 years.
Mm.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And that's all funded by in-kind
support and donations. So we received some great grants from different organisations like Impact 100, the Morialta Trust all paid some money towards us being able to do that, and the in-kind support was phenomenal. Companies like Dulux, Acrotex, Beaumont Tiles, they all supported those projects.
Fantastic. So obviously giving you heavily discounted rates.
Yes, or sometimes to pro bono, so no cost at all.
Fantastic. Well, I think when you're doing something for the benefit of the community, particularly for youths who've really lost their way, then these are just fabulous initiatives to assist these youths to get back on track and have the support they need and the shelter they need. So
That's right. I'm very proud of that.
Fantastic.
What was achieved.
That's fantastic. And have you got any other, you've said you've got a number of highlights.
Yeah, well, it all comes back to the construction, really, the construction of the homes. I've overseen 36 homes, as I said, and the skills that I've acquired, not all skills that are hands-on skills, but the actual skill of being able to negotiate, the skill of being able to understand what is required on a build, and the skill of just dealing with subcontractors and contractors and being able to talk at their level and have an understanding of what is required. I'm really proud of the fact that I can talk at all levels to different people who require different information.
Yeah, well, there's obviously a number of different categories of trade and variety of trade in this, in the construction of any home. So, yeah, it's important to know the background so that you know who you're speaking to and what to say and what not to say.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so it's they're fantastic skills to have and important skills to have because you're dealing with someone else's money for someone else's purpose.
Exactly, that's right.
So a very heavy level of responsibility.
Especially now at the executive role that I'm in, buck stops with me. So making sure that we always stay within budget is very important. Otherwise, as a not-for-profit, we'll cease to exist. And what we do is life-changing for those families that we build for. So, yes.
So what, in general terms, do you see would be good as a change to enhance women's participation in the industry? What would assist women in construction right now?
I really believe that opportunities although they're there, I think young women particularly need to understand that the construction industry can be a career. It's not just something that you do on a stepping stone to do something else, but it is a great career, really rewarding and really diversified.
So you believe women can have an important role in the construction industry?
Oh, certainly. Yes, certainly. Whether it be specifically in the construction industry or like myself, within a not-for-profit, but in the construction industry building homes. There are so many avenues and so diverse. I really believe young women or women of any age should really consider the construction industry for themselves.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is, there's a variety of roles, whether it be as a trade and they can actually using their hands to construct buildings, or basically in a professional setting,
Yes, that's right.
like myself and yourself, where you're dealing with sitting in an office, but working in construction from an office, in your respect, project management of
That's
a
right.
very important building, and talking on the phone to various trades and, coordinating people to finally get a dwelling built.
That's right.
Together with the builder.
Mm.
So, yeah, you've got various avenues that women can contribute in. So in saying that, are you saying that it's important that we need to educate young women about these different roles that they can partake? Do you think that when you talk about building and construction that women just think, I have to get my hands dirty?
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I think it's such a wide number of skills are required within the construction industry, whether, as you said, getting your hands dirty is really a small component of the industry.
And there's nothing wrong with that, of course.
No, not at all. Not at all. And as I said, my son is a tradie and it is the best thing he ever did in his life. He is so happy. And I just think we have to accept that it is an industry that is growing. It employs so many people. I don't know the figures, but it certainly is a huge industry within Australia. And I really believe that if women would just look at it and consider that there is more aspects than what they realise, that it really may be a goal that they could try and achieve.
Yeah, so educating. I think education is very important. So that's something that we need to really work on, isn't it?
It sure is. And surrounding yourself with the right people. So people that have an understanding of the industry, make sure that you surround yourself with the people that are going to encourage you and show you the correct path.
Yeah, because I guess, even though times are changing and there is a greater acceptance of women in the industry, there's still obviously some obstacles with some people not actually accepting that women can partake in the industry. Would you say that?
I haven't come across that, but it's just a surprise when they see a woman doing something. So it's not that they don't accept, it's just more like, that
it's still not considered as the norm.
The norm, no, I would agree with you there.
The perceptions are changing, basically.
Yes, they certainly are. Yeah,
that's good to hear. So when we talk about young women getting into the industry, what advice would you give a young woman who's wanting to enter the building industry right now? Look
what's out there. I mean, Master Builders Association have Born to Build, which I think is a fantastic avenue for women to go through. I think it's really important that they research what they want to do and find the correct avenues to go down so that they do it the easiest way, not the hard way like I seem to have done it. Study is important, whether it's an apprenticeship or whether it's going, in law or where I've gone in project management. But yes, and as I said, surrounding yourself with those positive people, those great mentors that can show you the right path.
Yeah, no, thank you for alerting me to our Born to Build program. I obviously have to pick you up and celebrate that because it is a wonderful initiative by Master Builders, the Born to Build program, which helps young kids in schools learn more about what the construction is, both male and female, and help them sort of navigate their way through options available to them in the construction industry. So we actually go into schools and talk to young people, and we've got wonderful field officers who do that. And if they are keen to become an apprentice, we obviously put them into, mix them with the hosts that we have available who then mentor them through the host program, and we have field officers who actually also look after them whilst they're doing their apprentice program with one of our hosts.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, and that we're trying to encourage more women through that avenue.
Great initiative.
Yeah, and we're definitely having success with it. But as part of the ConstructHER podcast and also part of the Women in Building Committee, we're trying to obviously develop women's contribution in that program as much as we possibly can. So we're always looking for further ideas on how to market that and introduce women to the program itself.
That's fabulous. A great initiative by Master Builders.
Yes, thank you. So is there anything else that you would like to impart as a final word just for women in building in general terms?
Yeah, the only obstacle quite often I would say is yourself. Really looking, as I said, really look into what you want to do and set your goals and do your best to strive towards them.
That's a wonderful final word. So basically, believe in yourself.
That's right.
The sky is the limit.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Louise, for coming today. Been fantastic listening to you, and you're obviously doing amazing things for Habitat for Humanity. And we thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to make a comment, please make a comment right here on Spotify. Alternatively, if you require further information, please go to our website. The details are below.